So if you're a meat eater, if you regularly eat meat, it's really important that we act to mitigate the risks of something called heterocyclic amines. So when we cook meat at high temperatures, these heterocyclic amines, HCAs, are produced in the heating process. And this is really important because these HCAs, they're known, proven carcinogenic compounds. Why? Because they cause cell mutations and they cause DNA damage, both of which are implicated in the development and progression of cancerous cells. And there's really clear evidence to show how the increased levels of HCAs, the increased exposure to HCAs in our body, is a significant and predictive risk factor for cancers, particularly colon cancers. Okay. But there's a really simple approach that we can use to remedy this problem, and it's one that adds more flavor, more taste. It's a win-win to the whole situation, and that's rosemary leaf. Okay, the simple, humble rosemary leaf, because rosemary leaf contains within it a wide variety of phytonutrients, plant-based compounds, which in laboratory studies, in clinical research, has been shown to neutralize the development of HCAs in meats when they're cooked at high temperatures. So by reducing the volume of HCAs in the meat that we eat, by inference, it means it's going to significantly reduce the risk of those, the volume and the risk of those cancer-causing compounds entering into the body and causing the cellular damage that we know they can cause. And aside from those health benefits, it obviously adds a real depth of flavor. Rosemary is a beautiful flavor. It lends itself to use really well with most meats. And it's fascinating because in lots of the European longevity zones where people are regularly living in good independent health into their 90s and 100s, what do you see? You see when they're consuming meat, it's almost always paired with herbs that are high in antioxidants, not just rosemary, but thyme, sage, lemon balm, all of these kinds of things. And it's super easy to use. The easiest way, if you've got a rosemary bush growing in your garden or you buy a small bush, you don't need much. Just take, a few rosemary leaves, put it in a mortar and pestle, add a couple of tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, and just give it a really good mash together to macerate it all, to release all of the healing compounds found within the rosemary leaf, to make a rosemary marinade. And then just gently massage that into whatever meat you're cooking, whether you're frying meat, whether you're baking meat, roasting meat, barbecuing meat, it doesn't matter. Massage it in. And then when you cook that meat and you start heating it up, that rosemary, the compounds of rosemary found within that meat are going to significantly reduce the volume of HCAs that are produced, which means you're going to be consuming less of them, which is by inference going to significantly reduce the risk of those causing cell damage, cell mutations, DNA damage in our body, which we know are, proven cancer risk factors. So if you're making meat dishes, if you're using meat, and you're not saying we have to do it all the time, but the more we can get into the habit of using rosemary in that capacity, the bigger the gain.